Welcome to Psyche Tips number 22. Today, we're embarking on a thrilling expedition into the cosmos of your mind. Our destination? The fascinating world of cognitive biases. These mental shortcuts, like cosmic wormholes, help us navigate the vast expanse of information quickly. But be warned, they can sometimes lead us astray, distorting our perception of reality. Seeing what you want to see. Picture this. You're convinced that pineapple belongs on pizza, a truly controversial stance, I know. Imagine searching online for evidence to support your culinary conviction. You find countless articles and forum posts praising the pineapple pizza combination. Did you also seek out articles that challenge your viewpoint? Confirmation bias is our tendency to favor information that confirms our beliefs while ignoring contrary evidence. This bias can lead us down a slippery slope of bad decisions, from clinging to unfounded beliefs to making poor financial investments. Seeing the wrong price tag. Imagine you're strolling through a bustling marketplace and you spot a beautiful, handcrafted vase. The vendor asks for $500. You scoff, knowing it's overpriced. But then, they lower the price to $300. Now it seems like a steal, right? You might have fallen prey to the anchoring bias. This cognitive quirk makes us overly reliant on the first piece of information we encounter. In this case, the initial price of $500 influenced your perception of the vase's worth. When our fears take flight. Have you ever avoided flying after a vivid news report about a plane crash, even though statistically it's one of the safest modes of transportation? That's the availability heuristic at play. Dramatic events like plane crashes or shark attacks tend to stick in our minds more than mundane occurrences, even if they're far more common. This can lead to irrational fears and poor risk assessments. The illusion of expertise. Overconfidence bias, the illusion of expertise. Overconfidence bias is the culprit behind many a failed exam, botched DIY project, and ill-advised investment. It's the tendency to overestimate our abilities and knowledge, leading us to believe we're more skilled and insightful than we actually are. This can manifest in various ways, from ignoring expert advice to taking unnecessary risks. Loss aversion, the fear that holds us back. Imagine you're offered a simple gamble, a 50-50 chance of either winning $100 or losing $50. Would you take it? For many, the fear of losing $50 outweighs the potential joy of winning $100, even though the potential gain is greater. This innate bias can prevent us from taking calculated risks that could lead to significant rewards. Sunk cost fallacy, throwing money after bad decisions. Imagine you've poured countless hours and money into restoring a vintage car. It's rusty, unreliable, and more trouble than it's worth. Yet, you can't part with it. You've invested so much already. This is the sunk cost fallacy. We stick with endeavors we've invested in even when it's irrational. Picture this. You've just aced a trivia night at your local pub, demonstrating an uncanny knowledge of obscure facts. You're on top of the world, convinced you're a genius. But hold on, could this confidence be misleading? Enter the Dunning-Kruger effect, a cognitive bias linking competence and self-awareness. People with low ability often overestimate their competence, while highly skilled individuals underestimate theirs. This impacts leadership, decision-making, and social interactions. Hindsight bias, the I knew it all along phenomenon. Remember that time you were certain your favorite sports team would win the championship, even though they were the underdog? And when they pulled off the upset victory, you declared, I knew it all along. That's hindsight bias. It's the tendency to believe that past events were more predictable than they actually were. Status quo bias, the comfort zone conundrum. Imagine you've been using the same phone plan for years, even though newer, more cost-effective options have emerged. You know you should switch, but the thought of navigating a new contract and transferring data fills you with dread. This is the status quo bias at play. We prefer things to stay the same, even when change would be beneficial. Fundamental attribution error, judging others, excusing ourselves. Imagine you're driving down the road and the car in front of you suddenly slams on its brakes. You might be tempted to yell, "What a terrible driver!" But what if the driver was forced to brake because a pedestrian unexpectedly stepped into the crosswalk? We tend to overemphasize personal characteristics when explaining other people's behavior while conveniently overlooking situational factors. Journey's end, for now. Thanks for joining me on this cosmic journey through the fascinating world of cognitive biases. Remember, these mental shortcuts are part of what makes us human, but by understanding their influence, we can become more aware of our own thinking patterns and make better, more informed decisions. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Your Empower Mind.